So, the time has come to talk about this. I've been avoiding talking about this for a long time, and it makes me uncomfortable to bring this up. But I wrote it down, and it needs to be addressed. Because if I don't address it, then nobody else will, and we all lose. So I have to talk about this. This is a very serious matter. I know that I do satire on this show. I know that I may say things that from time to time may be funny. You may find them funny. Maybe you don't understand them. Maybe you have autism. Who knows? I don't know who you are because I don't get a lot of feedback. But one day I will know who you are. And one day you will realize that there's a lot to this world that you and I really don't understand, and we may never understand. And there are a lot of mysteries. But one day you will realize, you'll think to yourself, and you'll start to see this once I mention it. You will think to yourself this. Okay, listen very closely now. This is very important. One day you're going to be driving somewhere or walking on the street or getting a ride in an Uber or a Lyft or on a bus, and you're going to notice something very strange, and it's the phenomenon of the Harley Road Glide and the Harley Road King and other bikes that look like this, which I didn't even know existed till today, or it might have been yesterday when I looked up. I typed in Harley Road Glide, and an Indian, they had a side-by-side, they had a Harley Road Glide, then they had an Indian motorcycle. I don't know, I can't remember what they called the model of their bike, but it had the same type of round fairing in the front, and they looked kind of similar. Now, here's the deal. If you haven't noticed this out there, then maybe you're not a motorcycle person, and maybe this video is not for you. If you have noticed this, then congratulations, you are one of the elite. You are one of the motorcycle enthusiasts or bikers, or maybe you're just a perceptive person. Maybe you like to look at motorcycles when they ride by, and maybe you're interested in motorcycle culture or outlaw culture or something like. Maybe you're interested in that, so you have noticed the epidemic, the virus of the Harley Road Glide and the Harley Road King as of recent times. And you are one of the elite. You are. If you have noticed this, you're a very unique person. You're a very special. And I'm not saying this to be facetious. If you've noticed this, you're one of a kind. And if you ride a motorcycle, you probably ride a chopper or something else. You probably ride something else other than a road glide. So I haven't been riding motorcycles that long, so I have a lot to learn, and I will admit that. But I'm one of those people that was into outlaw culture, and it just the whole rebellious feel to it is what I have always loved since I was a child. Since I was a kid, I loved that. I loved movies with biker gangs in them, and I have always enjoyed that. And I always knew that I would one day get into riding motorcycles, and I finally did a couple years ago. And it literally has it's changed my life. Not a joke. Riding motorcycles has just opened doors for me. It is, I've made so many new friends because of it. It's a very cool thing. And it's almost like I always knew it would be since I was a kid. And there's a picture of me from 1988, and I'm dressed like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator 1. Okay, this is before Terminator 2. This is before all that stuff was as cool as it is now, or as cool as it became when Terminator 2 came out, right? And so there's a picture of me, and I have my big wheel beside me. If you don't know what a big wheel is, just Google that. Look at an image of that. It's a little orange and yellow small kids motorcycle, like a little bike, a big wheel, plastic thing. I had that, and I had like a gun in my belt, and I had a boombox for some reason. Because I guess that was from the hip hop side of me as well. I added the boombox because that was part of being the bad boy or being the outlaw. I guess all the elements were there. If you look in your own childhood, you'll find that all the elements of who you are there to some extent. But I always knew I would get into motorcycles, and once I did, you start seeing certain things. You're more keen. You're more aware of motorcycles. You're more aware of what's going on out there, and I think I don't know if it's been a year. It seems like an eternity because it's literally, it drives me insane. It's literally, it can drive one. It can drive one to insanity. Let me explain. If you have like a high pattern recognition, right? And you see if you have high pattern recognition, you're probably into conspiracy theories. You're into connecting dots to different things. And you notice these things. You notice trends. You notice fashion when it pops up because you see a lot of people partaking in it. And kind of like mindlessly, a lot of people are mindlessly partaking in it, or they're actively choosing to partake in a certain fashion or trend because they want to fit in. They want to kind of disappear in the crowd. I think there's people like that too. That they're not necessarily dumb zombies, but they just want to blend into the crowd, right? And this trend started with the Harley Davidson Road Glide. And I noticed it because I had seen the Road Kings forever, right? And I always thought of them as an old man bike, right? And one of my friends said that too. That's like a quote from one of my friends that I ride with. It's like, yeah, to me, that was always an old man bike. And that's how I saw it too, like a gold wing, like these big giant bikes, and we call them minivans, because my mind is my mind as a motorcycle enthusiast is in the mind frame of like Easy Rider or like a custom chopper type. A biker is like, doesn't have to be one of a kind and have the coolest and most unique chopper, but you're an individual. I mean, you're literally one guy, one person on two wheels, right? And you're rolling down the highway, and that's freedom. Nothing can stop you. Nobody can nag you from the back seat, or you're not worried about anything else unless you have a passenger on the back, right? And that's my frame of mind, is like the freedom of the road, right? It's just you, the motorcycle, and the two wheels between you and the road. And you're exposed to all the elements, and there's if you've never ridden a motorcycle, it's a one-of-a-kind experience. And it's beautiful, and it's freedom, and it's American, and it's all of these things, all of these great things combined into one. And I would always see those gold wings and the Road Kings and stuff, and be like, you might as well get a fucking car. It's like a 2-wheeled car. How much protection do you need? Some guys have all of it. They have the windshield, the fairing, they got the big bags on the side. They're just they're almost completely covered up. No, so you might as well be driving a car, right? Or a minivan, as we call them nowadays. And I think it had to be last year I'm pretty sure it was last year when I noticed this, when it stuck out to me, because the reason it stuck out is because I saw 2 of them at the same park at one time. And this guy rolls up on a road glide, and I'd never really noticed them before, and I noticed they looked different from a Road King, okay? And they're just a different. I don't know the history of them. I didn't really look into them that much, so I'm not an expert in this at all. But it stuck out to me because there were 2 of them, and the first one that I seen the guy had, it was this beautiful like candy apple red. It was like a color you would put on a lowrider or something. It's like, whoa, that's really nice. And I thought the same thing about that one. It's like it's a big motorcycle that covers you up. I'm not interested. I mean, it looks cool and nice, and it's probably really expensive. And right after that guy rolled up, another guy rolled up with the exact motorcycle, just in blue, like a different color. And I thought they were together. I thought the 2 guys were like riding together. I was like, I'll say that makes sense. They got the same kind of bike, just different color, because they ride together or whatever. And they weren't together, because the one guy rolled away and they didn't even exchange any words or anything. They didn't even say hi to each other. You know what I mean? Like most bikers are really social and communal with one another. And we got hand signals and stuff like that we give when we pass each other. And these guys didn't even look at each other or communicate. So all of these little things, these little patterns stick out to me. You know what I mean? Like, so not communicating means that you don't really know about motorcycle culture, or you don't care about it. That's number 1. Number 2, you got the exact same bike that this guy had, it had to be exact the same year and everything, because it looked exactly the same, just a different color. And so that was the first moment. And I remember I was at the park, and I was with my friend at the park, and he was fishing and I was hanging out with him. And we had ridden our motorcycles there. That was the first moment that I noticed it. The first moment. And after that, it just gets worse. Up until this day, it gets worse. I see that fucking motorcycle every time. Not just once. I see at least, not even exaggerating, I see at least, not even exaggerating at all, probably 10 every time I'm out on the street, every time I go driving. And I'm out there, I'm out in the street a lot doing deliveries, right? What am I delivering? I'm going to stop talking about that. And I'm not going to say the name, because fuck that, you know what I mean? They're not paying me to advertise for them. Are you? And by the way, we'll put a pin in where we were in this Harley road glide conversation. All you guys out there making these rideshare company videos, some really good videos, right? How much can you earn with said company? And unless these companies are paying you, stop saying their names. You could say, like, I'm doing this rideshare thing, or I'm doing this app delivery, this app-based food delivery service, Stop advertising. You're giving these companies free advertising. And the reason that I work for one of them is because of all of the YouTube videos that I watched. And I was like, hey, I could do that. But I would advise you guys making the videos, keep making the videos, just take their names out of the videos. I don't know, maybe that's something you could change. And these companies wouldn't have the power that they do over us. You know, we need to realize this. Unless you're taking money from them, yeah, then advertise all you want. Make your money the way that you do it. But yeah, I was out doing deliveries, and for a company that shall remain nameless. If you've watched some of my older videos, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. You'll hear me say the name. But I realized, you know what? I'm not. Even if I had a big channel, even if it's like I'm not getting, there's no incentive for me to say their name, right? They're not paying me. So anyways, back to the Harley Road Glide. So yeah, I see these bikes everywhere. And once I start seeing those, I start seeing more Harley Road Kings. This is, okay, I'll give you a great example. This is the same thing happened, and I didn't even ride motorcycles back when Sons of Anarchy was out, when it was on TV, right? But I started noticing I think they're called the Dynaglide, right? I mean, anybody, feel free to correct me, please, in the comments. You can talk shit. You know, I know that the biker community, there's some real intelligent people in it, and there's also some real geniuses. So I'm sure this is, well, hopefully it's pissing a lot of you off. Hopefully you get mad enough to realize your hipster behavior and fucking change. And you either stop riding motorcycles and get out of my fucking community, or you learn the etiquette, and you learn the rules, and you learn the respect. And then you learn, once you've learned all those things, then you can learn how to be your own person and get your own bike and be unique as much, you know, as much as your creativity allows you to be, right? At least try to be more yourself, and stop trying to just fit in because you saw some outlaw, you saw some 1% gang member or gang member, you saw some 1% club member with a glide, a Dynaglide, or well, the Sons of Anarchy people saw that bike and they're like, oh yeah, Sons of Anarchy. And you, come on, man, everybody knows how corny that is, and these guys, there's guys out there that wear the Sons of Anarchy gear, you know, and they get hit up by real clubs, you know, and it's happened so many times, and it's so ridiculous, right? But I mean, people don't know any better, obviously, and they don't know any better not to get the same bike that everybody has. Why do you want to get the same fucking bike, right? Why do you want to look the same as everybody else? And furthermore, why do you want to protect yourself so much from the elements when riding a motorcycle is about experiencing the elements, experiencing the freedom, the wind, the rain, the dirt, the whatever, you know what I mean? The asphalt, the rubber. It's about experiencing that, not hiding yourself from it, not protecting yourself from it, right? But if that's not what riding a motorcycle is to you, that's fine. But the hipster behavior has to stop. And I'm sorry to tell you, I don't think it ever will, because of the nature, the psychology of people. And these patterns, it will go away. I mean, eventually some other TV show will come out, or maybe some club member from a real club, from a legit club, will start riding a different type of bike. And then all of these hipsters, all of these guys out here that want to just look tough without doing any of the work, you know what I mean? They don't belong to any club. They haven't done any of the work to be in a club, but they want to look like a club because they want to put that image forth. Why? Because they're weak. They're hiding behind that. Just like how hipsters ruin beards. You know what I mean? For the past, as far as I can remember, the past 10 years almost with the hipster beard thing. And it's like this whole beard thing, and it's like men, modern day men crying out through their beards, and all these fucking hipster beard companies spring up. Oh, beard oil and beard combs, and everybody looks the same, and it drives me insane. You know what I mean? Because I like to grow a beard. I have like a little one right now. This isn't the kind of beard I'm talking about. There's a certain look. It's like this bushy, circular, and then it's like all edged up, all nice, and they edge it all up, and then they fade it into the hair, and it's like, you want to look like every other man out there. Why do you want to do that? And it's very hard for me. I have very limited options as to what hairstyles and beard styles I can do. There's only so much I can do with my face. And with this hairline, as you can see, it's rapidly moving backwards. So the hipsters ruin everything. I don't have any tattoos, but they've ruined tattoos. I mean, there's, people are still going to love getting tattoos no matter what, no matter who comes along and ruins it. I feel like hipsters have ruined, to some extent, they've ruined coffee. They've ruined tattoos. They've ruined beards. They've ruined Harleys. And they're continuing. I mean, I noticed when hipsters started riding motorcycles, and then they got into the road glide, right? And it's completely fucked. It's done. Anybody that watches this is going to be in your head now no matter what you do. You can rebel against my idea. I'm not the only one that thinks this way, by the way, about the guys getting road glides. It's not the road king and the road glide that's the problem. It's the guys wanting to look the same as everyone else so they can hide and fit in. That's the problem. So I finally got that out to the public. No matter how many people watch this, it doesn't matter. I did it. I got it off my heart out into the public. I'm sure that I'll probably sleep really good tonight. I probably will sleep really well, knowing that I got this off my chest finally. And it's something that I've only talked about with my friends, and I mean, all of which who are other bikers. These friends I'm telling you about are people I ride with that have also noticed. So, I mean, thank God I'm lucky enough to have friends like that noticed that and weren't inclined to buy a road glide. Thank Jesus that they have minds of their own like that. What else can I say about that would be relevant? Stop buying them. Please let the trend die. I know it will eventually, or won't it die? I thought that trap music eventually would go away, and I don't think that it is. I wonder what the next trend in hip hop and rap music is going to be, right? I used to think that. And then you had the Dirty South music, which turned into the trap music. And it's here to stay. So I'm wondering, how much more retarded can it get? How much more retarded? And there's a lot of trap music that I like. I like the feel of that. I like the beats a lot. But I wonder, is there a way to dumb this down even more? How low can we go? How far down the evolutionary scale can mankind go? I wonder about that, and it's kind of exciting. So I wonder and the hipsters will find a way to to do something, to accentuate something that's even worse than the road glide. And I hope that I don't pick up on it, but I know I will because of the way that the pattern recognition works. What can I say? I have a beautiful mind, like Russell Crowe in the movie of the same name. And there was another thing I wanted to talk about, since this is a variety show, right? One day, I may come back to bringing the scroll screen back over here, so that we can watch videos together and talk about them. But not tonight. There was another thing that I wrote down that I wanted to talk about, so I'll get that off my chest as well. If you don't mind. If you've made it with me this far, wow, your attention span is 25 minutes. Hats off to you. You're a real tough cookie. You made it 26 minutes in. Man, how did you learn to do it? How did you learn to build your attention span as far as you have? 26 minutes. Jesus Christ. Did you watch is there a new self-help book that I'm missing that I haven't heard of yet? Is there a self-help book out there that teaches you, or even better, a YouTube video that teaches you how to increase your attention span that I've missed out on, that you found out about, that helped you make it through this far to this video? Shouts out to you. Leave me a comment if you've made it this far with the timestamp. That's a challenge. That's the timestamp challenge. One more thing and I'll let you go, because I know your time is precious. And I know that now I saved you some time. You know why? Because time is money. Now you don't have to spend $40,000 on a Harley road glide. I saved you some time, didn't I? It's not cool to ride a Harley road glide. It is not cool. Why? Because it's not cool to copy other men. Especially when there's 10,000 motherfuckers all around you in your own city that are on the road riding that bike. And you're like, I'm going to get that one. That's the one I'm going to get. And I could tell a lot of these guys it's their first bike. And I hope it's their only bike. Fuck them. You know what I mean? They don't deserve to be on the road with me. They don't. And also, when I'm out there doing my deliveries, they're making me go, and they're making my brain fragment. Did I say that right? Like, I can't even, like, my mind is not even the same. I can feel it. I can feel my brain has taken some damage from all of the Harley road glides that I have to see every day. Okay, I'm done with that. Now on to this last one, and then I promise I'll let you guys go. So, I'm doing a delivery, right? Picking up a pizza. And I'm waiting for the pizza, and I'm watching the big screen TV. And there's no one else in there except the workers. And this lady walks out of the bathroom and she limps past me. She's obese, but in a weird way. You know what I mean? Those people that are like, they're like obese, but not maybe from being injured or sick or something, so they have a different shape to them. They look even more like a monstrosity. They look even more grotesque and distorted, that kind of fat. And she's limping past me, and she walks outside, and she gets in a car that's waiting for her, and it's some shitty, it might be an Oldsmobile or something from the 90s. It's some unidentifiable car. It's white, it's dirty, looks like complete fucking shit. And there's some guy, and then there's a guy in the back seat, and I guess they were waiting to pick her up. Maybe she works there or something. She gets in the car, and she drops a cup, an empty, like, paper coffee cup or something out the window right in front of me as I got the pizza and I'm walking out behind her now, because she walked by me and it was perfect timing. I picked up the pizza and I was able to walk out to my car to witness her dropping a coffee cup, littering right in front of me. She doesn't care. She doesn't care that anybody sees her or not. You know, at least, like, if you're going to litter, you do it when no one's looking. You know, because it's an expensive fine if you get caught littering, right? And I'm not going to tell on somebody if I see them. I'm not like that. But I just felt like I had to tell that story and point it out. And it stood out to me because it was a coffee cup. I don't know why that is, but I noticed the coffee cup, it had that sound, that unmistakable coffee cup sound when it hits the ground. You know what I'm talking about. The paper cup. Think back to Terminator 2 when the guy drops his coffee after getting stabbed in the eye from the T-1000. And I wish that the T-1000 was there. I wish I was a T-1000 because I would have stabbed that bitch in the eye. You know what I mean? And just for being a disgusting monster. And I thought about that. You know, there's a metaphor, there's a lesson here that goes with life. The type of person like her that would litter like that in front of someone else and with no care in the world, just like it's a normal thing she does every day. The type of person like that, I could tell what her life was like. And her whole life is disgusting and poor and ugly and injured and ill because she doesn't care. She doesn't care for herself. That's why her body was in such disarray, because she didn't care for herself, you know. And maybe you'll say, well, there's nothing she could do. Maybe she hurt herself, she got injured, and she can't exercise or do anything to fix herself or to lose weight or anything. And that's not true. That's not true. I've seen a man with no legs, or what was it? I saw a video of a guy. I think he had one leg. Yeah, I think he had one leg, and he had a crutch or something, and he was like doing this hard manual labor. He was shoveling something. I don't even remember what he was shoveling, but it was like hardcore manual labor. It was, and this is a video like on like a kind of like a TikTok or a YouTube or something, Snapchat or some kind of video like that. I don't think it was that long ago. You know, it wasn't like it was a guy from the 50s doing it. It was just some guy that was disabled, but he was working his ass off. He was working harder than anybody else there. And maybe that's a bad comparison to this woman, because who knows what her life was like. But she, and then the people that she's with, and nobody in that scenario is trying to make their life better. And you can just tell. You can tell by their actions. Because somebody who's trying to make their life better doesn't throw a paper coffee cup out the window in the parking lot of the pizza place. Thank you.